Shut up, Evan.
I did finish the show.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
I made sure. I was like, but also I found it really watchable. It's like
It's an easy watch.
It is.
I feel like once you start, it's easy to just sort of rip through it.
Yeah. Not to be like basic, but just watching a lot of good-looking men on screen for a long period of time.
It's not terrible.
Yeah.
I will say, like, when we were filming it, I think we all felt so hideous, and like we were with each other for so long in such extreme conditions that I don't think we thought we looked okay. And then watching it, I'm like, Jesus.
Yeah.
Like Liam and Kieran and I'm like, everyone's so hot.
They're hot.
I know. I didn't know while we were filming.
Yeah. Well, now you know.
Yeah, now I'm aware. Now I'm scared. And now they have hair. And yeah, it's very scary.
Okay, are we good? Are you good?
I think so. Let me sip this Saratoga.
Do you like Saratoga?
I've never had it.
It's my least favorite
Oh,
sparkling.
you're kidding.
Well, no, excuse me. Perrier is my least favorite sparkling.
Oh, this is still.
Okay, fine. But
Should I hide it?
no, whatever you want. But
Well, I don't want to advertise if you fucking hate it.
I do fucking hate it.
Okay, yeah.
Did you have a good time meeting last week?
I had a great time, yeah.
I had a
Thank you
nice
for
time.
having me.
Yeah, I had a nice time.
I was so nervous going into that dinner, and everyone was so nice.
I always approach these dinners of like, if you show up, chances are you want to be there. And if you bring a room full of people together that want to be in the room, everyone's going to try and connect.
Definitely.
So I actually think like the environment of like going in and not knowing anyone is a good thing as long as everyone in the room is willing, like bring that same energy.
You can tell across the room, you're like, that's one of my people. I'll like flock over there.
I think you sat next to Cheyenne Jackson, right?
I did.
Because you also need to see, I guess you're leaving soon, but I was going to say you need to see O'Mary.
Oh, Evan, I already saw it.
But you didn't see it with Cheyenne.
Right. That is true.
That's what I'm saying.
I know. I saw it with, I think all the understudies, they were so incredible.
You saw Hannah Solo
I did.
as Mary.
Yes.
Shout
I've
out Hannah
been
Solo.
the biggest Cola Scola fan for such a long time. So I've been dying to see O'Mary for forever now. And it's just like I'm never in New York. So yeah, that was like my first order of business. And there's so much anticipation, and it like so beyond lived up to what I thought it was. I am not a laugher. I'll be honest.
You're just not a laugher.
It's just like to get an audible laugh is uncommon. Like it takes, I'll smile. Like it never comes, like a guffaw rarely comes out. And I was like stifling my laughter in the theater. So, incredible.
Laughter is good. You should.
I know.
Like you should get into it.
It's the best medicine. I feel there's internal laughter, but it's rare that I'm like screaming.
That it comes out of you.
Yes.
Okay. Good. Miles Heizer.
Yes.
Thank you so much for being here.
Listen, thank you for having me.
Miles Heizer, aka Young Goth.
I've been trying to not talk about that. I have shame. I have embarrassment. But I feel like it's almost more embarrassing to change it.
Okay, for people that don't know, this is your Instagram handle.
It is. It's from when I was a teenager. I don't know what I thought I was doing, but it's still there.
Were you gothic?
No, like not really. It's sort of a bad look. I mean, I was like an indie gal, but I was never full goth, but I did, I guess, like to emulate them occasionally.
What were some qualifiers that you feel made you indie?
Well, growing up, I would say I found my identity through music. It was specifically Tegan and Sara, which is what I mean by indie gal. I found this song called 19 by Tegan and Sara and was fully, I'm like, this is my identity. This is me. I got the haircuts. I learned how to play guitar. I learned all their songs. I would go wait in lines for hours to see them. It's actually funny, I was obsessed with all these indie bands as a teenager that I later found out were just all lesbians. It was I just loved lesbian indie rock, and I had no idea.
Paula Cole? Or that's too old for you?
I don't know who that is.
Okay, fair enough.
But I'm familiar with the Lilith Phair.
So Paula Cole was of OG Lilith Phair. Have you? I keep bringing this up to people. Have you watched the Lilith Phair documentary?
No, and I should.
You should.
I should, for respect for my people.
Well, it's also fascinating. There are so many artists. Did you know Christina Aguilera played the original Lilith Phair?
No.
Nelly Furtado.
Well, that makes sense.
Missy Elliott.
Oh, of course.
I mean, it's just such a robust lineup. Tegan and Sara played the 2010 Lilith Phair.
They've been, yeah.
Which tracks.
Right.
But they're not OG Lilith Fair. I feel, having watched the documentary now, we need to bring back the Lilith Fair.
Of course.
It was brought back in 2010. It didn't work. I don't think society was ready.
Right, we're ready.
You think so?
Yeah, we're back.
Are we back? A lot of people feel like we're the opposite of back, but I like this take.
Well, I feel like we're back because we have like some of these young pop girls are sort of coming out. They're being a bit more experimental.
Mm-hmm.
They're leaning into the Liz Phair. I was gonna bring her up. I don't know if you're familiar.
I'm familiar.
I thought she was one of the Lilith Phair gals.
She was.
But I found out recently she's like not a lesbian.
There's lesbian adjacency to a Liz Phair.
Right.
I think there's a contingency of women in rock in the 90s, you know, because of course there's a continuum here. You've got like your indigo girls, right? But then you have the girlies who the girlies loved.
Okay. I'm a huge Liz Phair fan.
Okay.
Sort of recent. I've been like really going through the discography as of late.
What led you to Liz Phair?
Probably like Spotify recommended, and then I found like a song. There's one called Shane that I'm like, this is like my favorite song, and then I just started ripping through all of it. Pardon my language, but she has a song where she says over and over, "Give me your hot white cum," and I was shocked. Thought she was a lesbian.
Hey, listen, sometimes people just want some white hot cum.
Hot white cum.
Hot white cum. Not to be confused with white hot cum.
No, very different.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
Okay. Transitioning
Go for it.
from hot white cum to ER.
Right.
You were famously on ER.
Famously is a stretch, but I was on it.
Okay.
Right.
Were you on the final season?
No.
No.
I don't think. Maybe I was.
Well,
and I
when
don't
were you
know.
on ER?
I don't know.
How old were you when you were on ER?
Not positive. I want to say 11. This is actually a crazy story. So my like true soulmate best friend, her name is Mae Whitman. She's an actor. We thought that we met on Parenthood, where we played siblings. And like years into filming, we found out that we are in the same episode of ER. Not just the same episode. There's like a tracking shot that goes like from her room into my room, and we're like truly in the same episode. We had no idea.
That's your origin story.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. But yes, I died on ER. Wow. My memory is that like John Stamos like took a liking to me. I think he took me to a baseball game, and then I die, and there's like a scene of like a baseball glove. My memory is that it was on a stool and it was being spotlit in a black room, and he like goes up to the glove and has a moment.
I think it's hard for people now to understand just how big of a deal ER was in its time. I mean, I grew up, I'm a child of ER. Nice. And so I'm wondering, at 11 years old, when you were cast on this show, it was one of your first gigs, if not your first gig?
It was one of the first. My first was CSI Miami.
Excuse me.
I'm not going to take anything away from that. But
don't.
Yes, ER was early on. I will say my mom's a nurse, and ER was like so massive to her. Like, I think that I was aware of like how iconic it was, and I was so excited I was actually on a few episodes. I slowly died.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay, so this was the tail end, because this is the Stamos days of ER.
Right, yeah.
Like long past the Clooney days.
Way
They were like, we'll sub in one hot guy for another hot guy.
Yes.
And it worked.
It worked well.
So then it's, I think, 3 years later that you get cast on Parenthood.
Yeah.
You were on the show from what, age 14 to 19, is that correct?
Yeah, or I might have been 20.
Okay, an incredibly formative period in one's life.
Yes.
You're on this hit television show, which is already sort of a unique circumstance. And then you're also not getting to interact in the regular school system with other teens.
Right.
So did you have the awareness that it was atypical, or this was just sort of like, this is my life?
I think a mix of both. I'm genuinely so grateful that I didn't receive an education. I'm glad I didn't go to high school. I do feel like, you know, right around that age is when I was starting to become quite clockably gay. And I'm grateful to have not really had to face that in a high school. Parenthood especially was like the best experience, and to have like grown up in that formative time, like you said, with this like incredibly supportive, wonderful group of people around me, I think genuinely like really shaped who I am and helped me be able to accept myself at a pretty young age. You know, I'm from Kentucky, and I think growing up as a gay person there, is very different than being in LA, like on a set. You know, when I finally came out, so to speak, to my friends, like they could not have cared less, like super supportive. So I'm so grateful for that. It's funny you say hit. No offense to Parenthood, but it like wasn't a hit. So it was always on the brink of like we might get canceled, but like it's Jason Katims. He just did Friday Night Lights. Everyone loves him, so they like just sort of let us keep going. So I think again beneficial for me in that I wasn't famous in any capacity. It wasn't like my life didn't have that sort of dark twist. No one was following me around. No one was asking me for pictures. It was like, it was my job and I had the best time and made truly like lifelong closest friendships from that. And yeah, that's the one that I look back on so fondly. I'm like, and it was when I tell you like comically easy job. We would sometimes like rap at lunch. They'd be like, well, we worked really fast today, so you can all go home. It'd be like they let us improvise. We were like at points like basically not saying anything that was written, like set up 3 cameras, do a couple takes, and just leave. Yeah, it was crazy.
Okay, so maybe not hit. Can we say like cult classic?
Yes, I think over time, like on Netflix, it's gotten a sort of cult following. It's definitely what I get like stopped about the most.
Well, I think it's the kind of show that if you love it, you really love it. So sort of like One Tree Hill, Everwood, not like the Buffy or the Dawson's Creek.
Right. I mean, Gilmore Girls.
But see, that to me is like
that was
too
later.
popular.
It was like, oh, right. You're right.
But
it's too big.
That's a hit show, right? But cult classic to me is more of like those shows that were, as you say, had a good chunk to them, like were on for a long time. Vampire Diaries.
Yes.
Which I guess is
huge.
probably like a hit.
Well, and one of the guys from Vampire Diaries is in Boots. I didn't know, but it's like if you read comments from like the trailer or any clips, it's all them being like vampire. Like they're obsessed still.
I mean, there are certain shows that just create these fandoms around them, and it's very interesting which ones do, which ones don't. I'm very fascinated by like the lifeline of a show. I'm very lucky. My favorite show is Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Buffy the Vampire Slayer lives on today. It's a cultural touch point. But I think a lot about, I don't know why this show comes to mind for me, but I think a lot about Home Improvement, which was a big part of my childhood. Like I used to watch Home Improvement every week, but Home Improvement has been like put in the vault. Like it's just not a cultural reference today.
But it's like we all know it. We know it.
Sex and the City, great example. Like it feels like it was never left us, even though, it's been a while, save for the revival series.
Right.
Are you a Sex and the City person?
Okay. Like, not necessarily,
Mm-hmm.
no. I've actually seen the first season of it, and I loved it, but I struggle to sit down and watch, like, a scripted show, especially if there's a ton of seasons. I'm like, it's hard for me to not just turn on 90 Day Fiancé. Like, I'm a reality TV person, so I haven't, like, I did watch some of Sex and the City, but again, I'm sure, like, Drag Race started, and I'm like, I'm over it.
As a gay person, what would you say is like the biggest piece of gay canon that you just have never seen? Would you say it's Sex and the City?
Oh my God. I was gonna say Wizard of Oz. However, I did watch it in recent years, but I had not seen it prior to that.
And what was your reaction to
I was surprised at what I saw.
Yeah.
I was. Yeah. It's a wild movie.
The fucking Tin Man.
He's there, and he's not human.
He is not.
Yeah.
Well, he was.
Right. I will say I do consume a lot of like gay culture, so I am pretty up to it on that. I hadn't seen Golden Girls until we started filming this show Boots, because the character I play watches Golden Girls,
yes.
And so that was sort of my character research, if you would.
Yes, your character does reference that, because I feel like that happens early on in the first episode, but I feel like it's a great touch point to say that this character is very othered, but he has a sense of who he is. But I am interested in this idea of this character who, though is uncomfortable in his own skin, is not uncomfortable because of his sexuality.
Yes.
And I feel like a lot of times when we explore gay characters in coming of age works, and I wouldn't identify this show as necessarily a coming of age, Though I think that there are aspects to it and its, construction that do adhere to like the coming of age story. I love that one aspect of his journey it is about figuring out who he is, but who he is not strictly his sexuality, which I think complicates the character in such an exciting way. Is that something that appealed to you when you were first reading it?
For sure. I think it's very uncommon for a gay storyline, especially about a teenager, where his arc is really about self-discovery, but it has nothing to do with his sexuality. It's sort of the launching point is like, he's gay, he's fine with it. He has a best friend who loves him and supports him. And I think the show itself is sort of about this group of people who all have something that they're hiding in a secret. And I think his is the easiest to sort of get you into the show because the stakes are very high. It's illegal at the time to be gay in the military, so it creates a lot of pressure for him. But ultimately, everyone has something that they're going into this sort of running away from or hiding from, and about how everyone comes together once those walls are down and realizes, like, we're just people in the same experience trying to achieve the same thing. And yeah, it's fun to like play a gay character who's comfortable with their sexuality, and it allows me the freedom to be like, have my, gay wrists flopping around and like not be stressing out, worrying about trying to hide my own gay mannerisms and whatnot.
We love a floppy wrist.
Listen, we love it because we have no choice.
We have no choice.
Yeah. I remember like doing some of the training. They kept being like, your wrist is like bent in, and like you're not like your arm is not making like a straight line. I'm like, it's so natural for mine to flop in.
A huge element of this show, which I think is true to what it must be like to actually be a part of the military, the Navy, any of these organizations, is the being yelled at.
Right.
But was that a part of the training?
It was more the physical stuff. At the beginning, actually, we did have some of the guys who were playing the drill instructors would come to our little training sessions and they would yell at us. But I think we pretty quickly established, like, you don't need to do that. It's not benefiting us. Like, we're trying to learn this to try to portray this accurately. Obviously as the show goes on, we sort of progressively get better at these certain tasks. So yeah, for our training, it was a bit more physical, but the screaming, it is funny because when we were doing the show, it was like, it felt so intense, and a lot of these moments felt very like harrowing, and then you watch it and you're like, it's actually like a complete joke and it's kind of funny, and they're screaming like crazy stuff at us. But yeah, in the moment, it's like, it's pretty intense to have someone screaming in your face.
I particularly felt for you, I think it's episode 1, you throw your meal away but you haven't eaten it,
right?
And
yes.
He comes up to you and he's like, no, pick that up and eat it.
Yeah.
And we watch you eat the food that you'd thrown in the garbage and then throw it up.
Yeah. That was unpleasant for me as well, I'll be honest.
It was very visceral watching it.
Yeah, it was pretty disgusting to like actually reach into a trash can and shove a bunch of stuff in your mouth. For Cameron, his sort of story, obviously there's this very raised stakes intensity of a military setting and boot camp. But I do feel like it's sort of relatable to a lot of queer people, of just being in situations where we feel like we have to hide ourselves or out of fear of not belonging. I think that's sort of what the core of the show is about, is like all these people are ultimately just searching for a sense of belonging. And I think it's like, particularly, at least for me, growing up as a gay person, I didn't have very many male friends. I had this fear of like, if I had male friends, they would see that I was gay and make fun of me or feel uncomfortable around me. And I sort of like completely kept myself from having that experience. And I think Cameron sort of lives in a similar world of hiding and trying not to stand out, and to suddenly be thrown in this place with these people that he doesn't think will accept him, and doing all these things that he's afraid to do, or things he's never tried before. I think is very relatable. But I think for him, obviously, the story becomes about realizing like he is capable of these things, and he actually is capable of having connections with people that he wouldn't have thought he'd be able to, which I honestly had on set, because the cast sort of mirrors the show in a weird way, where we really are all from like completely different places. There are people from the UK, from Chicago, Alabama, Mississippi, LA. So we all came together, and I think our experience sort of mirrored the show, where by the end we really were like so close and bonded despite all of our differences on paper.
I heard you talk about this, the fact that like there was a lot going on off camera at any given time just because you guys are all in so many scenes together.
Yeah.
So whereas a lot of other shows, you might be called in to do your scenes and then you're out by noon. It's Parenthood. It's like, noon. They're like, goodbye for the day. Yeah, yes. You never work. But on a show like this, because there's so many ensemble scenes, you guys are on set together a lot and you have this camaraderie. It's an ensemble show. At the same time, you are number one on the call sheet with this show. I believe this is the first time that you were a number one on the call sheet. And there comes a lot with that. I mean, obviously from the outside, you're the lead, sure. But it's my understanding too that there are a lot of responsibilities that come in sort of leading the vibe that is created on set. Did you feel that?
I think deep down I sort of did. I definitely came into it with raging imposter syndrome. Like when I got there, I was so nervous and stressed. But I do think in a way, we all have a responsibility, especially on this show. Literally everyone worked every day. Like no one had time off. Any scene you thought you weren't in, like they're like, you're in the background. Like, so we were all there sort of, I think setting the tone for sure. I think that unfortunately sometimes the actors do, if there's a really like shitty actor on set, it can like ruin the vibe for everyone and stress everyone out. So yeah, I certainly wanted to go out of my way to make sure like we're all having a nice time. I'm sort of the king of like, we can't take anything too seriously. Like we gotta have fun. That's gonna make the whole thing a lot better. And we have to be nice to each other. It's like, it really does make things so much easier. And I felt a little responsibility to do that, but fortunately, like, the group is all so lovely. So it was a good group of people, which I think helped a lot.
So this is based off of a book.
It is.
So as a closeted gay teenager in the late 1990s, Andy Parker, who's the creator of this show, invited a Marine Corps recruiter to his house to convince his parents that it would be a good idea for him to join the military. He didn't end up enlisting, but while he was developing projects with Sony, more than 2 decades later, he was sent the book, which the book itself was written in 2016. It's a memoir by writer Greg Cope White, who Greg, as a closeted teen, had joined the Marines in 1979. So it's interesting to me because it's like you have this original book that came out in 2016, which is a very different climate, right?
For sure.
And it's reflecting on 1979, which was, of course, a different climate.
Yes.
And now you have this show. Now, this show takes place in the 90s.
Yes, 1990.
1990. So it's so interesting, right? Because you have 1979, you have this show taking place in the 90s, you have 2016 when the book comes out, and then you obviously have 2025 today.
Yeah.
All of which have very different climates with regard to both gay people and the military and gay people's relationships with the military.
Yes, very much so.
Yeah, what's your understanding of the decision to set this show in the 90s?
I think going into it, it was sort of supposed to be a period piece and sort of like about a time where things were very different for gay people in the military, sort of right before Don't Ask, Don't Tell. And yeah, unfortunately, like when we were filming, I don't think we intended for it to be holding up a mirror to current day. Things were very, very different when they were developing the show and when we were filming. And yeah, it's very unfortunate that now, in a lot of ways, it's sort of speaking to what is happening right now, which is sort of interesting. But that wasn't the intention, to be completely honest.
So talk to me about how Boots comes onto your radar. I mean, it's my understanding that the show has been in development for 2 years now. When did you first find out that you were going to be a part of it, and what attracted you to this project?
Yeah, I think it was like it must have been 2022 or 23 that I got an audition, and it's like usually I get something. For the most part, I'm like, it's not gonna happen. Like the audition is like, all the girls are dribbling at high school or whatever. I'm like, you guys, it's not gonna be me. I'm not. This doesn't fit me. And then I got this one, and it's like, gay loser. I got the feeling. I'm like, okay, I fit this. And I read the pilot, and it was truly like so unlike any pilot I'd ever read. Once again, going back to what we were saying earlier, like the fact that Netflix is making this show, I'm like, this is so crazy. So I tried my absolute best at my audition, and then I like didn't hear anything back for, I think it was like 3 months later. I got an email that was like, you have a callback for that show. And I panicked. I watched my first audition tape. Truly horrendous. I'm like, no wonder it took 3 months, because it was not a good tape. And then, yeah, it started this sort of wild audition process of like really condensed multiple auditions. And it would be like, they need you to read again tomorrow, and here's 12 pages, and you're playing both parts in the scene. So you have to do both side, each character in the scene, and sort of culminated to them being like, so they want you to do a screen test, like it's with Vera Farmiga, like it'll be fun. I'm like, that's very scary. I'm gonna look like a horrible actor next to her, obviously. And that was like the very end of it. And I was just so attached to the show at that point. Like, there's so many things about the character that are so me that I'm like, I know some people, actors, are like, they want to be challenged and play something unlike themselves. I'm the opposite. I'm like, I can pull from my own life. I would love to do this. So yeah, when it finally happened, I was so excited, and then immediate like imposter syndrome, sinking anxiety. It is true, like being the lead of something, I've never done it. In fact, my whole life, I've sort of been like, this is not something I want to do. It seems like a lot of responsibility, and I like sleeping, and I like the comfort of being like a smaller part where you come in, you have days off. If it's terrible, it's sort of like not on you. You can see, it's easier. So I was suddenly extremely scared. But fortunately, like everyone involved in the show was so nice and welcoming to me. And the Greg Cope White, who wrote the book the show's inspired by, and Andy Parker, the creator, like we all three have, it's 3 gay men. We have very similar sensibilities, senses of humor, and like I felt very comfortable. But yeah, I was terrified. And honestly, even it coming out, it's like I've never felt this attached to something. It's like it's very exciting and nerve-wracking that people are gonna see it all of a sudden.
Is it a unique sense of pride in?
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I'm proud, obviously, of everything that I've done, but we just worked so much, all of us. Like I've never been on set basically every single day of an entire production, so I think we're all just really connected to it. And watching it, I think at the end I was like started crying. I'm like, why am I crying at this, my face on the TV? But I think it's just because I have so much pride for the fact that we finished. It was tough. And yeah, very proud of it.
Do you want to cry now?
No, I'm over it. Yeah, I've done it enough. My whole acting career has been like crying. I'm kidnapped.
Yeah.
So I'm done.
I get the sense that you are hard on yourself, just in how you talk about it. But that this is something that, as you said, you can watch this and see pride in the material. Are you able to see that same pride in your performance in this?
Obviously we all have moments where we're like, Jesus, that was terrible acting. I look insane. I'm bald. But I am very proud of the show, and I'm proud of everybody watching. I'm like, everyone showed up when it was asked of them, and I think everyone does such a great job. I'm like, as a collective, I'm very proud of all of us.
I'm very excited for this one.
Thank you.
I want to rewind before this show and talk about Love, Simon, because I have so much love for Love, Simon, as I know so many people do. It's such a sweet story.
It is.
Before that time, that was something that, like, the story of an isolated gay kid and coming into his own, that was it wasn't as common as it is today, I feel. Can you talk about getting that role and the resonance that it might have had for you? Because I imagine, tell me if I'm wrong here, you had some proximity to the experience.
It sort of was one of the first, like, just outwardly gay stories that was being produced by like a big studio and given like a proper release. I had read the book and I auditioned for Simon originally. Like I went in and
the
read
titular
for
Simon.
Yes, exactly. They were like, no, it's not this one, but they were like, there's another part. Like, would you be interested in this other part? And I was like truly so excited, like you said, like by just the opportunity to be a part of a movie like that. I think that it kind of was groundbreaking at the time for a big studio to put money behind a story like that.
The struggle is not really about the external forces so much it is his own acceptance, which I think is another thing I always like about that film. I love that, obviously, like so many people, I love the coming out scene to his mom and the idea of like he thinks it's going to be this big seismic event in the family's lives, and it's her kind of saying like, no big deal. I just like, are you good?
Yes.
But you are an out gay actor who's been very comfortable playing gay roles. And is that something that you were ever told would work against you? Is it something you've had a mindfulness at all? Or it's just sort of the opportunities that you've gravitated toward?
No, I mean, growing up, I started acting when I was 10. Hold your applause. And I think for me, as I got older, and I was very aware I was gay very young. So I always knew, but as I got older and it started to become more apparent, I think, to people around me, I had so much fear because at the time, there weren't really out gay actors. If there were, they sort of stopped working, and there weren't very many roles for gay people, especially in things that were given a fair shot or like had money behind them. It was always these like smaller movies that never really went anywhere. Like I truly had so much fear as I got older. I had conversations like with my representation about it, and yeah, whether or not it was what I should do, even playing a gay part. They're like, at that time in history, which was not very long ago, it's like if you play a gay part, you'll probably just sort of get pigeonholed and only be able to do that. I feel like my coming out is funny because I just never did. I think people just saw me and they were like, that's a gay actor. Yeah. So I just was always like thrown in with the other gay actors. So I never really properly came out. But I'm so grateful to have seen how the industry's changed truly like in the last 5 years. Like the fact that I would ever have the opportunity of this show, Boots, is like mind-blowing to me. I'm like, to be on a show about a queer character being produced by like this massive streaming service is so incredible. I'm so grateful to have been, acting in this time in history. Like the fact that I can just comfortably play gay parts and that those actually exist is like pretty new territory.
I think the fact that these streamers exist has a lot to do with it because, thinking about 13 Reasons Why or Elite or Feel Good or Heartstopper, there are all of these shows on these networks, that have so many gay stories that I just don't think there was the real estate back when it was just the big four networks back in the day. I just don't think there was enough space to slot in the breadth of stories that can be told now.
I mean, we had Will and Grace, and that was like sort of it.
Yeah. Well, it's like Love, Will and Grace. I think one of the frustrating things about a show like Will and Grace is more the amount of people who took that show and were like, this is gay people, which is no fault of the shows, right? Like, I think Will and Grace like gave representation for gay people, like that cannot be denied. But I think the limitations of the show were how many people absorbed that and said like that this is gay people, and so they would meet a gay person, and they'd be like, are you the Will or the Jack, right? It became very binary to a lot of people.
Well, it was the only example of gay people that like the majority of the country had.
Do you remember like a gay role in a film or television show growing up for you that was really formative in terms of unlocking the idea that like there is not a way to be gay?
No, mine was like the way to be gay is like, are you a Jack or a Will, basically. It's funny, like growing up, I was raised as like a gay child. Like I was on a cheerleading team. I watched Will and Grace. I like, drew and loved Bring It On, and then like my mom was gagged when I came out, which is hilarious. But that kind of was my example. Honestly, my examples of gay people as I got older was like Tegan and Sarah and like all these bands that I loved. It was like more through music, I would say. I don't remember having like honestly, my most formative, this is the most boring answer, but formative like gay thing that I took in was Drag Race. It was when I was like 18, started watching Drag Race, and that was sort of the first thing that was just like unapologetically gay and queer that I like really connected with and got into. My friend who I like technically dated when I was like 11 years old and we remained friends, she's the one that introduced me. I came out to her and she was like, I have to show you something.
It kind of indoctrinated you to the gay experience.
Fully.
Hey, look, I don't think Drag Race gets enough credit in the sense that, especially in the early days, I think that show did a lot to unlock the idea that to be a gay person does not mean you are this way or that way. Or even within that, I think a lot of people have this idea of like, oh, gay guys are effeminate. Well, guess what? There's a continuum of femininity. All great, whatever version of it that you have. But I think it unlocked this idea of like, even within the Jack faction of the gay community, there are so many different representations of like what that femininity comes to look like and how it is actualized.
Yeah, I think it still does. It has such a huge reach now. Like it's really not just like the gay community watching Drag Race. I think it still opens a lot of people up to queerness and queer culture, and even showing like all these trans women that are on there. I think it's like it's giving people this lens into that world still.
You were a guest judge on Drag Race.
I was. It's one of the most shameful moments of my life.
Shameful.
I love Drag Race so much, and I did such a terrible job as a guest judge, and I want my redemption. I want to go back. They'll, of course, never have me.
Don't say that.
They maybe, but I did so bad. I was so terrified. I also I got LASIK, thank you, but at the time I didn't have it, and I wasn't wearing my glasses, and I was so scared to be there that I just didn't say anything. I didn't speak.
Did you feel a pressure to sort of because I imagine that if I were ever in that situation, to have to try and say something pithy and funny and not just that generic of you better work. Of
course.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you felt the pressure.
At the highest level. I remember them at one point saying when the girls are coming down, obviously you can do a pun. If someone else says one that you like you can just repeat it. I'm like, yeah. I'm just going to steal Rue's pun on the way down. So I just didn't say anything.
Have you done drag?
I have, yes. A couple times, actually. For Halloween once, my best friend May and we were Darcy and Stacy Silva from 90 Day Fiancé, and we did a little drag. I had the classic experience of getting in and feeling so much more confident and comfortable with myself. There's something about putting on a costume where you're suddenly everything's out the window. And I'm going to be honest, I look incredible.
I'm not surprised.
It's pretty. It's gorgeous.
But you do love a LEWK look.
I do. It's such a in my normal life, I think I'm serving LEWKS, but it's a bit more I like vintage skatery stuff, which to me is a look. But yeah, if I'm going to some event, I want to look like a little bit of a freak,
And you do not work with a stylist.
I don't, no.
I kind of love hearing that because I think there's been somewhat of a homogenization of style, especially amongst male celebrities, because they tend to work with, a swath of stylists who are, no disrespect to these stylists, ultimately styling them with these brands, right? They're working with the brands and they want to make them look sharp.
Men's styling tends to be we want you to look like a handsome movie star or whatever. And I want to look like, I don't know, a clown or whatever, occasionally.
So when you're going to a premiere, where does your head go? Do you open up the closet? Do you go shopping? Do you talk to friends of yours? How do you decide on what you're going to wear?
I usually go shopping. I'll just start doing my research, looking at pictures on the internet and find something that speaks to me. And yeah, I'll usually just buy it because I'm like, to me, it's riskier to hire a stylist. I've done it, and it's always like the sweater, the chino, the loafer, which is all fine. But I would like to. I feel like for me, clothes are such a direct form of self-expression. It's like something that leaving the house, I'm like, I want to feel like I look like myself. So it makes me feel a lot more comfortable even in like a social situation where I'm like, I look like myself, I can act like myself. So I think that's sort of my jumping off point. But yeah, I just try to find stuff that I like and throw it on.
Do you have your these are my brands?
I go through cycles for sure. Like right now, I love Kiko Kostatinov. So I'm like, that's my safe spot of like, I'll just see what's happening over there. And I have a lot of like vintage brands that I really like. There's like a brand called Mac Gear that makes like weird pants, and Fodas makes like weird little tops. So like I just have, I definitely have my go-to searches for sure. Listen, call me crazy. Vintage Quicksilver is to me like the pinnacle of fashion. So I tend to go on Depop and just type in like Quicksilver, and then I'll just scroll and find stuff.
Have you worn Paloma Spain?
No, but it gets recommended to me.
How do you discover non-mainstream brands?
Grailed or Depop or something. You type in, like, I love Craig Green. I can't afford it, but I'll like type in Craig Green, and then it'll be all these people tagging like Craig Green when it's not actually Craig Green, but it's like similar, and you'll just sort of come across random stuff.
Have you been to Tokyo 7?
Of course, yes. I worked in New York for like a month once, a block away from that. I like lived a block away from Tokyo 7. So yeah, I was in there. There's a place in New York called Procell that I love that has like all the weird sort of early 2000s like cool stuff.
But I agree with you. It is strange sometimes how easy it is to find like incredible items online for quite cheap. And instinctually, because I'm so used to, especially fashion today, being so expensive, when something is cheap, my immediate thought is like, well, what's wrong with it? Or like, this must be fake or something.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's just people being like, I no longer want this, and I want it to go to someone who's going to love it.
Well, yeah, and people are like, it's hideous. And I'm like, well, I like it, so I'm going to buy it. Yeah. Also, I'm at peace. If it's fake, I'm like, I just like the way it looks. I'll buy it. I have no idea.
Fair. So you're living in New York right now.
Well, no. But I'm here for 2 weeks.
What's your relationship like with New York?
Wonderful. I love New York. I get lucky where I like randomly work here and get to like spend time. I love New York. I have my spots. Like I have my restaurants. I have my little stores. Like I love being here. But I definitely feel more at home in LA. But that's just, my dogs are there. My family's there. Like that's where I think that's where I'll die one day. But I love New York, of course.
Favorite coffee shop in New York?
I love Abrazo.
Okay.
You know it.
Go ahead.
Well, Tokyo 7.
Yes.
Yes, it's next door.
Yes. Because I used to live on 7th Street. Abrazo used to be across the street. It was just like a literal hole in the wall.
It still kind of
is.
It's
small.
Yeah.
Wait, thank you for giving Abrazo representation.
Yes. It's so comfortable. It's reliable. It's right there. You can go to Tokyo 7 after.
So I buy the cold brew beans from there, and then I brew my own cold brew from Abrazo.
So what, you just put it in water and go to sleep?
Yeah. Okay. So you literally buy there's these filter bags, and then we have like a jar, and then you grind it up. You put the water in, and then you tie it off, and then just steep it over 24 hours.
Great.
Yeah.
This is completely off topic, but my car was stolen recently.
Oh my God, I'm so sorry.
I got it back.
Okay, good.
I didn't know it happened. I literally woke up to the cops knocking on my door, and they were like, is this your car? We found it. And I had no idea it had been taken. But I got the car back, and the robbers had left their cell phone and like a broken tablet and a receipt from Smart and Final where they had bought coffee filters. I'm curious if they were like making cold brew or something.
Wow.
Yeah.
My compatriots.
Yeah.
Do you have a dream role, a role out there that you would want to conquer? What about, like, have you done anything on stage yet?
No.
Never. Do you sing?
No.
Do you dance?
Like, I think I have connection to my body.
Uh-huh.
I have rhythm. I love music. I make music. There's something in there, but I'm not like a girl group choreo.
Uh-huh.
But I can, like, I can move around a little bit. To me, it's the stage fright. I'm like, this public speaking, I would completely blank. I'd probably, like, trip. I'd pass out. Like, I don't want to do the stage.
Do you like a rave?
At this point in my life, like, no. It's literally the sleep thing. I'm like, I feel scared if I'm not home around 11 or 12 because I'm like, my sleep schedule is going to get off and I'm going to have, like, a bad day tomorrow because I didn't sleep enough. I don't drink. I don't do drugs. So I'm like, I'd rather just sleep. I do love, like, dance music. I love going out. My friend Angus O'Brien, who's also in the show, truly, like, my sister, like my blood relative at this point. We're sort of on the same page. So we go out together and we usually leave around, 10:30, 11, just to make sure that the sleep happens.
Got it.
Yeah. But I love dance music. I listen to it all the time.
You mentioned that you love sleep.
I do.
I love sleep. I love hearing people talk about their love of sleep. I find it very connecting.
It's like the central part of my life is, like, making sure I get 8 hours because I don't function well under that. Like, I have physical and mental problems when I don't sleep properly. So even filming this show is like, if you have a 5 a.m. call time, I was, like, getting in bed, the sun is fully out, like, doing everything I could to get sleep.
But I also feel like people really respond to celebrities talking about sleep. I know, like Dakota Johnson came out a while back and said that she needs 12 hours of sleep.
That's my ideal. It has stopped working. I can't sleep past 8. I just wake up.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of, like, a lot of sleep, but for me it's like that's always pushing the bedtime back, never the wake up time.
Right.
I have to be up really early to capture the day. And also in a city like New York, I feel like I'm the most productive because this is a city that sleeps. They do the whole city that never sleeps thing. That changed, I think, in the aughts. This city really sleeps. And so that crucial time from, like, 5 a.m. to 8 a.m. is when
You're
I can
awake.
get. Oh, yeah.
You're kidding. 5.
Oh, honey, I've already been to a Brasso. Like,
no.
Yeah.
Oh my. I mean,
got
I
things
had
to
my
do.
coffee this morning. But
Yeah. What time did you wake up today?
8:30.
Okay.
But for me, I'm on LA time. That's 5:30.
Got it.
You know what I mean?
If you were to change at Young Goth, but keep the young.
Everything sounds so dumb when you put the word young before it. That it's sort of hard to connect.
And what about at Miles Heizer?
That would be the obvious next step. But isn't it embarrassing to change it now?
Well,
it is.
No, it's not. But I also I'm not encouraging you to change it because I think you are Young Goth. You will always be Young Goth. It's kind of like, it feels similar to a tattoo, It might not be something that you're forever proud of, but it's emblematic of who you were in a moment. And we are but the sum of our many aspects of our identities at the end of the day. So, we can be one thing at one point in our life and say, oh, I used to smoke, I'm no longer a smoker. But you once were a smoker, so you're always a smoker.
But if your handle was I love cigarettes and you stopped and you realized it was ruining my life, you would probably be like, I need to change it to, like, I don't support big tobacco.
Yeah, okay, you make an interesting point. Had a great time.
Same.
Congratulations on the show.
Thank you.
I said this to you off camera, but I find it just very watchable.
Nice.
Like, I found it easy to hit play on and just keep going.
For sure. I think I think it's different than what it looks like on paper. It is, like, it's fun. It's easy to watch. I remember. It's
sexy.
It has moments of being kind of sexy.
We talked about this. I mean, a lot of dicks.
There are a couple in the first episode.
Yeah.
You get a couple.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but,
for sure.
It's always nice to see.
For sure. We don't see it all the time.
Yeah, you do on the show.
Right, yeah, you do see a little bit. And I think same thing. I started it thinking, like, I'm going to take my time through this, whatever. I like ripped through all of it. It's so easy to watch.
Wow.
Yeah.
Look at you. So you're not being self-deprecating.
It's true. This is truly like the first time where I like finished something and I was like, wait a minute. That was good.
Wow.
I'm kind of, I'm so happy. It's exciting for me to have something I'm so proud of. I'm like, oh, that will like live on.
Yeah.
I'll always have that. Yeah.
Excited, but don't laugh.
Never.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
A pleasure.
Same. Thank you for having me. My theory about the laughter is people say I look young, and I'm starting to think it's because I don't laugh.